On Wednesday, 17th February 2021, the National Unity Platform, NUP, President Robert Kyagulanyi and some of his party members moved to the offices of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights in Kololo, Kampala, to deliver a petition over human rights abuses. However, as the journalists who came to cover the event waited for Kyagulanyi and group to come out, a group of military police soldiers jumped off their pickup truck and began to indiscriminately beat up the journalists. In the process, violating more rights, freedom of expression, and other media as provided under Article 29 of the Constitution. There was no form of protest here or big crowds. Instead, the journalists were standing behind a police cordon near the UN human rights offices. The battered journalists are now nursing wounds. The Chief of Defense Forces, General David Muhoozi, who addressed journalists at the UPDF Headquarters in Mbuya, owned up to the heavy-handedness of the military police officers.
That incident is regrettable, and I want to take this opportunity to extend my apologies to those friends of ours who were assaulted. I made to understand that these included Cliff Wamala from NTV, Joseph Sabiti from NBS, Rashid Nakai from Galaxy FM, Timothy Murunji from Vision Group, Irene Abalo, Daily Monitor, Josephine Namakumbi, NBS, and Jeff Tresige, NTV. The excesses exhibited were not sanctioned, nor were they justified.
The Human Rights Network for Journalists has welcomed the CDF's apology.
We are yet to see how far it's going to walk the talk of compensation, but also, most importantly, taking stand action against the errant officers. We really want to see a transparent action process of taking action.
General Muhoozi promised that action would be taken against the errant soldiers.
We would be the last people to target journalists or anyone for that matter in an illegitimate way. Appropriate action will therefore be taken against the identifiable culprits.
Indeed, later in the afternoon, 7 soldiers were charged before a unity disciplinary court in Machinde, Kampala. They are Captain Jesse Odwenyi, Corporal Musima Justin, Private Waswa Peter, Private Same Imran, Private Kisache Victoria, Private Opio Isaac, and Lance Corporal Zirimenya Kasim. The soldiers were sentenced to punishments ranging from custodial terms of 60 to 62 days in Machinde military barracks and severe reprimand.
This was a deterrence measure to show that if you make a mistake, if you make an operational mistake, if you make a tactical mistake when you are on duty, you will be charged. And anybody who does that, we don't close an eye.
Amid a public backlash over the brutality, General Muhoozi said the army had taken lessons from the ugly experience.
So going forward, we should also be armed with cameras to capture our side of the story, but also to ensure that we can account for the mistakes that may happen.
There have been other incidents when security officers targeted journalists, beating and injuring them, but no action was taken against the perpetrators. In August 2018, soldiers severely beat up Reuters photojournalist James Akena, who was covering a demonstration in downtown Kampala. The army promised to take action against the errant soldiers, but it's not clear what happened. The Chief of Defense Forces was asked whether the army would keep beating up journalists and then apologize.
That is not our practice, and it's not even our desire to assault and apologize.
But on whose or what orders do such errant officers act on, since they are always briefed before operations?
I don't think anyone in his mind can brief soldiers that you go and beat anyone in your way. That's why we even craft rules of engagement.
Although the Editors Guild appreciated the apology from the Chief of Defence Forces, they plan to take legal action against the errant officers.
We are consulting our legal advisors as Editors Guild, and we are going to give legal backup to individual journalists who may want to prosecute this, and we are also looking at a way of how to take on the matter legally in court to bring all the culprits who were behind the breaches to book.
The CDF says that the UPDF will take action against their officers who brutalized journalists yesterday as they were covering new President Robert Kyagulanyi when he was petitioning the United Nations High Commission in Kampala. He says that the army has learned lessons from this, but that can only be tested by how they will exhibit themselves or conduct themselves in the future when they are carrying out operations. Sylvia Hanga, NTV.